You're listening to the Multiverse Fan Cast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right, then. On with the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Multiverse Fan Cast. You could take us on the go with Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and Podbean. You can also find us on any other listening stations as well. You can find our content on themisfitfaction.com, as well as our Instagram, The Misfit Faction, and on Facebook, The Misfit Faction, or The Multiverse Fan Cast. I'm Ronnie, and with me today is Paul. Paul, how you doing?
I'm good, Ronnie. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain at all.
And yet you're probably gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And
Dead air is great.
And with that introduction, that was Rob.
Hi, everyone. I'm surviving. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
What's that on your shirt? Is that the
That's
Infinity
the
Gauntlet?
Infinity Gauntlet, and then down the sleeve are the Infinity Stones, so I can press them at any time.
Really glad all of our listeners can now imagine that.
He's going to power up.
And I'm glad I wore it especially for the show, so everyone at home can see.
I hope everybody
That's
at home
good.
is just imagining a bedazzled shirt.
Yeah, right. Sequins.
Why is it pink and purple?
Why not?
Well, that's fair.
Yes.
I'll give you that one.
But thank you for tuning in to us. Today, what we're going to be doing is we have another character study. And what we're going to be doing is because of a trailer that was recently released, we're going to be focusing in kind of on that trailer for our character study. We're going to be doing the Sinister Six today. But before we go into that, we do have a bit of news.
Bit of news. So I'll start off this week with non-Marvel DC stuff.
Boo.
Although actually, I'm looking at this list now, and everything here is Marvel. So sorry, Marvel. First of all, Cowboy Bebop came out just recently. I am planning on watching it this weekend. However, unfortunately, right now it is sitting on Rotten Tomatoes at 48%, which is not ideal.
But there have been plenty of things on Rotten Tomatoes that have been bad on Rotten Tomatoes, but have been good.
Good in my brain, like the Eternals.
Regular tomatoes.
And I when I saw the low numbers, I immediately thought of, I think it was your comment that you said you were getting Speed Racer vibes from the the trailer.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh no,
and I love that movie.
But it's a unique. Speed Racer is a great, unique movie, but it is not a great movie. Yeah. But you might fight me on that. So
I'm thinking about it.
All right,
I'm not sure yet.
Next out in the news is Eternals in its second weekend held on to the top spot with 27.5 million. But what's most important is the drop. The drop was not that significant. It was like 62%, which is not a bad hold. I think a lot of people were anticipating it to be a lot higher. I think Venom 2 in its second week dropped something like 73%. And usually any kind of a drop in the second weekend shows that the movie was front-loaded. Only the fans went and saw it. It doesn't have any legs to it, and it's going to be falling quite quickly. But being at 62%, that is not bad.
Yeah, and also it didn't have a whole lot of competition this past week. But I think
no,
with
it had Clifford, I think that was the big competition.
which was also released on Paramount, I think, and apparently did fantastic on Paramount.
Yeah.
But I think with Ghostbusters coming out today. So I think that might take the top spot this weekend.
Easily. Yeah. Right now, they're already anticipating Ghostbusters to come in the 30 millions this weekend.
So weird. If you guys want a good laugh, we did do an episode on the Ghostbusters remake. I believe it's titled "Who You Gonna Call My Cat."
Oh, on Cinematic Adventures?
No, on Multiverse Fan Cast.
We did?
Yeah. We talked about how much we loved Chris Hemsworth in that.
And that's about the only thing I loved in that one.
Yeah.
And again, it was not the actresses. I think they're all just fine. It was actually the director. Paul Feig, I absolutely hate.
I don't know if we were talking about it or somebody pointed out to me that the problem with the Ghostbusters remake isn't so much the actresses, it's the fact that there was no straight man in this. It was all four
that's true.
funny comedians being funny comedians.
Right.
Like, I think we talked about Melissa McCarthy in that movie where she was the closest one to the straight man, but she was still pretty goofy.
Yep.
So I think that's where that movie, somebody pointed that out to me recently. I was like, huh.
That's a good
That
point.
actually-
that
That
tracks.
actually really makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, we have Venom 2 was the first film of the pandemic to cross the 200 million mark.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, good for them. I didn't like it, but
Obviously, the people do.
I guess. Delroy Lindo was just confirmed cast in the Blade reboot.
Yes.
So that's exciting. Scarlett Johansson has some sort of a secret Marvel project.
Dun, dun, dun.
We don't know exactly what that is. And we knew she was working on a Disney project because she's working on Tower of Terror. There it is.
Not Terror of Tower.
Terror of Tower. Might have a Terror of Towers. But we weren't expecting this because we didn't really know that she was still in the Marvel universe.
I have a theory that when we talk about the Spider-Man trailer, I will bring up.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She punches lizard.
And and then finally,
Bear with me on that.
we have, and this is going to take a few minutes. We have, it was Disney Plus Day, and we had a vast cornucopia, nay, a plethora of announcements. First of all, we had Moon Knight. We had our very first footage of Moon Knight. Thoughts?
It didn't show much. It showed that Oscar Isaac's in it.
Yeah,
It's one or two brief shots of his suit. It looks good from what I'm seeing. I'm curious to see how it's going to tie into the larger Marvel universe. And if they are going, because there's all this talk about a Daredevil either continuation or reboot. That's what everybody's talking about right now. So I'd be. Okay. I'm like, obviously we'll give it a try. We got Hawkeye coming out next week that we're all super excited about.
5 days from Hawkeye.
Yeah. So like, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time either way.
Yeah, I have to agree. Again, it didn't give you anything.
Yeah, it gave us a Ethan Hawke voiceover.
Yeah,
which I mean, your day's always a little bit better with an Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the most reliable actors in Hollywood. So now, all right, I read a theory because no one really knows who Ethan Hawke is playing on the show. We just know he's playing the bad guy. Mm-hmm. I read a rumor that what if he's playing Dracula? That would actually make sense, especially with Blade.
I'd be okay with it. Dracula is such a tricky character because he can come off super hokey. Mm-hmm. Fun fact: Rob is now currently watching Blade Trinity for the first time.
He started in the middle of it. I've never seen it.
And Dracula, or Drake as they call him in this, is the bad guy.
Yeah,
yeah, played by Heatwave.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. He's. I saw him. Yeah, I did see him, and I saw who that was. I'm saying, he's playing Dracula. That's his character.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I didn't
Blade Trinity.
I didn't get far enough for them to
name
him.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Blade Trinity. Thank you.
So sorry.
What a jerk.
We also got. They have Secret Invasion. We got a logo for that, and we got an ominous shot of Nick Fury.
Patchless Nick Fury.
Patchless. Yeah. With the Flurkin scar and quite a scraggly beard.
I hate the Flurkin scar. This is the dumbest thing ever.
We got a logo for Ms. Marvel, and we also got some footage from Ms. Marvel, which is again a show that I'm very excited about. I've made I have not been quiet about that at all, so I can't wait to see what that turns out to be.
They released a promotional thing or some sort of behind like a concept art of how her powers are in this, and
because she's Mr. Fantastic-y, right?
Basically, but it looks like they're doing different things with their powers, and a lot of fans are kind of like, why?
Yeah, because in the comics she stretches.
Yeah, that's kind of her thing.
Much it.
But I don't know too much about Miss Marvel, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. Again, that's what these shows are for the most part.
And they announced that is going to be coming out in summer of 2022, which means then that Moon Knight and She-Hulk will be coming out before the summer.
Yes.
So that's fun. I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. And speaking of, they released some footage from She-Hulk with Tatiana Maslany.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And who else should appear in the trailer for that?
Batman.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner as Professor Hulk. And he is, and actually Bruce Banner as in giving some sort of like an 80s kind of look to it. I have to say, I don't know if you guys will get the reference, but I got a real moonlighting vibe from it. Are you familiar with moonlighting?
With Bruce Willis?
Yeah, Bruce Willis. And,
no, I've never heard of
Sybil Shepherd. Even the logo is very moonlighting-ish to it too. So I'm feeling, and I know it's like a comedy, so I'm wondering if they're going to go romantic comedy with it, which that'll be fun.
Well, not between.
Not between Bruce and. I don't even know her name. No, I don't know her name.
You don't know She-Hulk's name?
No,
I think it's Jessica.
Is it?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Come on.
Notice I was over here not saying anything.
Excuse me. It's Jennifer.
Like, go ahead.
Jennifer Walters.
Yeah.
Jennifer Walters.
All right. We also got a title for the Agatha show.
Agatha.
Agatha House of Harkness.
It should have been Agatha all along.
Agatha all along.
That's gonna be the theme song.
Would you guys believe that's the only YouTube video of ours that ever got flagged because we used the music in the opening?
Yep. We did.
That's why I didn't know this. That's why I don't change the intro anymore.
We used WandaVision music.
When we did the WandaVision episode, we used Agatha all along as the intro.
And we got flagged?
We got flagged on YouTube for it.
I didn't know that.
It's the only video of ours that got flagged.
They also put out an announcement that we are going to be seeing a cartoon called Spider-Man Freshman Year.
I am not excited.
Tom Holland isn't right now attached to it or anything.
I don't think he's going to be.
But he might be. I don't think so. But it's supposed to be him becoming Spider-Man.
Yeah. So and that's cool. We have a.
I don't want to see Uncle Ben die again.
I know we've seen it. I've seen Uncle Ben die as much as
have you seen
the Wayne family.
Yes,
but have you watched it animated?
Yes, so many times. And I'm going to talk about the animated Sinister Six too in today's episode. So I got that. I got some
keeping us on our toes.
We got a logo for Echo.
The dolphin?
Echo.
What?
You've never heard of Echo the Dolphin?
No.
Oh, it was one of the most famous Sega Genesis video games.
Okay.
Notoriously difficult.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they actually back in those days they actually made video games harder because with rentals they would want people to rent the game
multiple times. That makes sense. Wow, I forgot that you could rent video games.
Oh yeah.
Back in our day.
But anyway, Echo is going to be a character on Hawkeye, and she's getting her own show. We got a logo for I Am Groot. We also got a logo for Ironheart. And we got the announcement that there's going to be a show called Marvel Zombies.
Yes. Dumb.
Okay. I have to say the Zombies What If episode was one of the weakest episodes, I thought.
Except for Paul Rudd in a jar.
Yeah. Paul Rudd is.
He was still 2021's sexiest man.
He's a national treasure.
He was sexy as an anime character. That's why he won the award.
Yep, that's how he actually got it.
And we also got the announcement that they are doing a cartoon called X-Men 97, which is a continuation, I guess, of the X-Men cartoon. But that's kind of cool. At least they're bringing in the X-Men in some fashion. I guess it's an animated form. But that was a very popular show.
Arguably
one of the best.
Is that the one with the theme song?
Yeah.
Okay.
So during the 90s, there was a huge run of very good superhero cartoon shows. The top three, arguably, this is subjective, but arguably the top three are Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, and Spider-Man. Those are the three that a lot of kids grew up on, a lot of adults still watch, and it's exciting that they're. It's funny because I remember watching the X-Men animated show as a kid. It actually had a crossover with Spider-Man too at one point, which was really fun. So that's exciting for me.
Oh, very nice. So, and that was all the Disney Plus, and that's a big slate. And so now, in retrospect, if you remember a couple weeks ago, we talked about that the MCU decided to go from 4 films a year to 3 films a year. Mm-hmm. Well, now you kind of see why a little bit, because there's so much television stuff that's coming out. And also, we don't know what Sony has planned, and that's something I'm sure we'll discuss a little bit today, too.
Sony's plans. That's terrifying. That's
terrifying. They don't have any plans.
And that wraps up the news.
Well, thank you for that, Rob. That was a great job.
Thanks.
He's done better.
That means so much.
I know. But before we get into our breakdown of the Sinister Six, we are going to take a quick commercial break.
Today's episode is brought to you by Raise Energy Drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Raise Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you had a nice break.
You're listening to the smooth sounds of Ronnie.
Smooth like crunchy peanut butter.
Hey, crunchy peanut is better than smooth peanut butter, though.
It was a play on words.
I see what you did. I know. I see what you did there.
I know what you did there. I just ignoring it. But we are back, and we are here talking about the Sinister Six because we did have a trailer drop, which we will be discussing, but we'll save that towards the end of the episode. But we're going to talk about the Sinister Six because we see them in the new movie. Kind of. Five of them?
We see the mildly angry five.
Yeah, right? But before we get into each character, we have Paul here. He's going to give us some fun facts and how the Sinister Six got started up.
So the Sinister Six were 6 bad guys.
No.
I thought it was 12.
There is a Sinister 12. I'll bring it up.
And an 8. And a 7.
There's so many different teams. It is very strange. We've had Sinister 6, Sinister 12. 6 and 12 are really the only numbers that we'll get. Yeah. But the Sinister Six is an exceptionally popular villain group. It's right up.
When you're talking about comic book, right?
Comic book, okay. Yes. In terms of comic books, it is one of the better known villain team ups in terms of comic books. You know,
the Rogues gallery.
You have the Rogues from the Flash. You have the Injustice Society. Mm-hmm. You have Legion of Doom, like characters like that, where the group is almost synonymous with the character that they talk about, and obviously the Sinister Six is a big Spider-Man villain type group. So they first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1, January 1964. Yeah. So they were created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, obviously, two of the biggest names, if not the biggest names in comics. Like I said, they first appeared in Amazing Spider-Man Annual #1, and they were recruited by Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus tends to be the head of most of these villain groups. He's been known to lead the Sinister Six. He was the master planner. So basically, he's separated from his tentacle pack, but he has a mental connection to them, and they break him out of prison. This is an actual thing. Like, this is how this worked in the comics. And he basically recruits 5 other villains that have been defeated by Spider-Man. And what happens is basically it's almost like a dinner party type thing where he invites them all there, and they bicker and they argue, and finally Dr. Octopus is like, hey, this is my plan, this is what we do, you're each going to draw numbers, and we're going to attack him one by one and wear him down. And also because none of the members are willing to give up the honor of killing Spider-Man. So basically they kidnap Betty Brant from the Daily Bugle, and they tell J. Jonah Jameson and Peter Parker, send Spider-Man here because the Sinister Six is coming. By the way, here's your first fun fact. The Vulture is the first one to say the Sinister Six and refer to them as such. So the first character to use the phrase Sinister Six was the Vulture. And so Spider-Man fights them all. Like they each have kind of like a specialty to where they are. The original lineup, though, this is a fun lineup. I actually really dig this, and I definitely was not ready. All right, so you have Dr. Octopus, who obviously he's the head of it. Electro, Max Dillon. Kraven the Hunter, Sergei Kravenov. Mysterio, Quentin Beck. Sandman, Flint Marko. And the Vulture, Adrian Toomes. So nice, solid lineup of Sinister Six members. So obviously Spider-Man, not only does he beat them one by one, but then he viciously makes fun of their decision to battle him individually instead of teaming up against him, which is obviously one of the oldest movie tropes where all the bad guys
they all stand back while one of them
the worst example of the villains not attacking all at once is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yep.
The Secret of the Ooze, and I will tell you exactly why.
All right.
There are scenes, and this is true. Watch this movie. There are scenes where the Turtles are fighting one or two of the Foot Clan, and the rest are in the background just doing ninja moves. Yeah. I kid you not, it is the funniest thing once you see it. You can't unsee it. Yeah. You'll never watch the fight scenes again. So, obviously,
Three Ninjas.
What was that?
3 Ninjas.
I love 3 Ninjas. What about 3 Ninjas?
You know when they're fighting the uncle? When they all come down, when they're in the ship?
Oh yeah, and all the ninjas are just standing around watching,
sitting there and then going one by one.
Yeah,
well, the guys do the one by one.
In
fight.
fact, I would encourage most people that when there is a big fight scene with multiple people, don't look at the main action. Look at what's happening in the background, because oftentimes you will see people just standing around and doing various moves,
or you'll find something way more entertaining.
Yes.
Example: in the scene in Avengers Endgame during the big final battle scene, it's the shot where Cap accidentally catches Stormbreaker and Thor catches Mjolnir. And he, no, give me that. You have the little one.
Yeah.
In the background, you see Mantis put a giant alien to sleep and then give it a little kick to make sure it's actually sleeping and then run away. Like, that actually happens in the background. It's like in the right corner. It's That's the funniest thing.
That is.
So after the Sinister Six is defeated, they come back again in the Amazing Spider-Man 334 to 339. In this one, Dr. Octopus recruits Electro, Sandman, Mysterio, Vulture, and now Hobgoblin, because at this point Kraven the Hunter had died. By the way, Kraven the Hunter killed himself after thinking he killed Spider-Man because he thought his mission was done. Dark stuff, guys. But now in this one, it was part of his plan to take over the world. However, this was a trick and part of a bigger plan where Dr. Octopus alone would be the master of the world. What? He wanted to release a chemical agent into the atmosphere that would cause pain to anyone who attempted to use cocaine. He would then sell his cure to the chemical to the rich and the powerful. So, this was during a time in America where cocaine was...
Is this the 60s?
Or
the 80s?
Probably the 70s or 80s, yeah. It doesn't have the date here. But, yeah.
It feels 80s-ish.
It feels Wolf of Wall Street-y, yeah. But, so
early
that's...
90.
Early.
Yeah.
But, it was after the Comic Code lifted its bans, and, for those of you guys who don't know, the Comic Code Authority was basically a parental rights group that comics had to have this seal of approval, quote unquote, in order to be published, which was not true. They could be published without it, but they just wouldn't sell as well, supposedly, because it was like comic books were demonized after World War II about being like devil propaganda and corrupting the youth. So the Comic Code was put into place to quell the parents. Like, no, we approve this story. It's okay. So you had comic books like the one where they find out that Roy Harper's doing heroin. That was a big one. Yeah, big one that fought against the Comic Book Code Authority. And now, obviously, it's completely obsolete and completely gone. But that's the opening or the starting of the Sinister Six. Anybody have a favorite member from the original lineup? Oh, I know. This is a tough one. I got this.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Doc Ock is just a classic villain. I mean, when I think of, villains for Spider-Man, that's who immediately comes to mind, other than Venom.
Sandman has always been kind of an empathetic or sympathetic character for me, because
we'll see how he is in the new movie.
I know, yeah, because he's trying to fight for. If I remember correctly, doesn't he fight like for his daughter or something like that
in the movie? Yeah,
is that from the movie?
Yeah. But
doesn't Doc Ock fight for his wife?
Oh, what's left of her?
Or yeah.
Or are you thinking of?
No, that's the movie also.
Yeah.
I was thinking Mr. Freeze when you said that.
Oh, no.
Nora! Oh, God. But, I hate you so much. Thank God you weren't talking to the microphone. But, yeah, so for me, they make the villains much more sympathetic in the movies. Sometimes it works. Other times it does not. Carnage and Venom didn't work.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. Mild spoilers, I guess. But like Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2 is arguably considered one of the best comic book villains. Yeah. And we did an episode on Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, but we didn't get to touch base on the villains nearly as much. So I think Doc Ock, he is just a classic, iconic villain, and even anti-hero at one point when he took over the role as Spider-Man in the comic books. So for those of you guys who don't know,
is that Superior
Spider-Man, Doc Ock was dying, so he put his mind into Peter Parker's body and basically killed Peter Parker, but his part of Peter's soul still lived on in the body, so it almost uncorrupted Otto, and he took over and was supposedly a very good Spider-Man, very effective, and he had a cool costume. The red and black always gets me.
Yeah.
But so that's the original lineup. I'm going to go through just a basic list of some of the other characters that have been in the Sinister Six. So stop me if there's one you really want to talk about. Hobgoblin.
No, keep going.
Really? Hobgoblin. All right, so Hobgoblin. When we talk about the trailer, we'll talk about Hobgoblin because
Really?
Yeah.
yes, and I'll explain why.
Oh.
But Hobgoblin also voiced by help me out here, Mark Hamill in the animated Spider-Man series, and he was fantastic. He was basically they thought Green Goblin was too scary, so they started with Hobgoblin first.
Speaking of Green Goblin being too scary, have you ever seen any of the original footage from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
The mask they wanted to use,
yeah.
the animatronic-looking mask.
Yeah, holy cow, that's terrifying.
It was terrifying. We have a character called Gog. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Beetle. Scorpion. We're going to talk about Scorpion, too. Shocker. We're going to talk about Shocker as well. Kraven the Hunter.
Yep.
That's Alosha Kravinoff. Venom. Grim Reaper.
Wait, you said to stop when you want to talk
Oh,
about
sorry. Venom.
I'm just...
You trolling him?
Are you
Yeah, I'm just trolling.
Yeah,
I'm just
I hate
trolling.
you so much.
I just know Rob likes it.
Grim Reaper, Lizard. We're going to talk about Lizard.
Yep.
Trapster, Chameleon, Rhino, Beetle, Boomerang, the Living Brain, Overdrive, and Speed Demon. All right.
Was
So those
Typeface ever part of the Sinister Six?
is who?
Typeface.
I don't know who Typeface
That's
is.
an actual. I found this out today.
Oh, yeah.
That's an actual Spider-Man villain. Typeface. He was in the U.S. Army, and he has letters on his face, and he doesn't have any abilities, but he's just really smart.
I love it. That's just so terribly good. Some other members or some other groups. We had the Sinister Six 5, which is or the Sinister Six number 5. They were formed by Sandman to actually get revenge on Dr. Octopus. So it was Sandman, Electro, Kraven the Hunter, Mysterio, Venom, and Vulture. God, these are so strange. Yep. We had the Sinister Six, the Sinister 12. It was a 6th incarnation of the team. It was formed by Norman Osborn when he was unmasked as the Green Goblin. So it was Green Goblin, Boomerang, Chameleon, Electro, Hammerhead, Hydro Man, Lizard, Sandman, Shocker, Tombstone, Venom, Mac Gargan, and Vulture. Oh, God, that is a lot. There was a team during the Civil War storyline, which was Dr. Octopus, Grim Reaper, Lizard, Shocker, Trapster, and Vulture again. God, Vulture needs hobbies.
Yeah, right?
Well, apparently we got to talk about Vulture, too, because apparently Michael Keaton said today that he is filming more Vulture material. But we don't know for what.
Which film?
We do not know for what. Obviously, it's not Spider-Man. They cannot do reshoots with 30 days left.
No.
At the time of recording.
Right. Well,
It's
there's
physically
also...
possible.
And they released a... there's a time on the film, too, so they can't... And they've already submitted to the MPAA, so...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it might be for Morbius.
Yeah, it's
Or some other... Or it could be some other project that we just don't know about. Let's see. Where are we? There we go. There was a Sinister Six 8, which was Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, Mysterio, Chameleon, and Rhino. We had one... All right, these start to repeat themselves after a while. So those are your...
Sensing a pattern.
Oh my God, these lists are huge. In the Friendly Neighborhood, Spider-Man number 6, Spider-Man plays with Nathan, a cancer patient who becomes Spider-Bite, and they fight the Sinister 60, who wish to have seen Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's not...
Wow.
That's just too many.
Morbius the Living Vampire, that's funny. Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative's another big one that's jumped in. So, that's comic books. Now, obviously, I personally am a big fan of the television shows and other media that Spider-Man has been in. So, here's your next fun fact. So first of all, in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, they had a makeshift Sinister Six, and we didn't even realize it.
No.
It was Dr. Octopus, who was Olivia Octavius.
Yep.
The Green Goblin's technically in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kingpin, Prowler, Tombstone, and Scorpion. They're
Huh.
all they all
That
team up.
comes to 6.
And it's good because they didn't make it actually like
No.
we're like a team.
Yeah.
We're some sort of Suicide Squad.
That's like it took Captain America forever to say Avengers Assemble.
No, he said it in Age of Ultron.
Oh, but they cut it off, right?
He cut it off. It's so bad. So, growing up, I watched Spider-Man the Animated Series. For those of you guys who don't know Spider-Man the Animated Series, first of all, it's on Disney+. Go watch it. It is fantastic.
All right, this was a great episode.
No, not yet.
Oh, no.
You don't do it right now.
Pay attention to the fans.
Silly goose. But it went for 5 seasons, and it was in 1994. And the most unique thing about it was how heavily censored it really was.
Oh, is this the no guns?
This is the no guns, the no punching, and they could not call it the Sinister Six.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Aunt May and Uncle Ben slept in separate beds or something.
Oh, they never actually say Uncle Ben's dead. He's just gone.
Yeah. He's on a farm upstate New York.
Yeah. And it's Peter's fault.
So back to the Insidious Six.
It is, yes, that is what it is called. The Insidious Six, not the Sinister Six. They thought Insidious was more child-friendly.
No, that works with the kids. It tracks with the kids.
Oh, God. So, in this version, yeah, it's the same basic setup. Yeah. But what they do is the team is actually created by the Kingpin to destroy Spider-Man, because you can't say kill Spider-Man in this show. And this one consisted of Chameleon, Dr. Octopus, Rhino, Scorpion, the Shocker, and then it was Mysterio, and then Mysterio was replaced by the Vulture in their second incarnation. It was so fantastic, and it was at the same time in the show that Spider-Man was losing his powers. Yep. So he was like, "Oh man, this sucks.
I can't do anything."
I mean, he did some stuff. He won, if that helps.
Well, and don't they always?
They had 4 more seasons. But it was really good and really fantastic. The next one I want to talk about is the Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man is one of those shows that did not get its time to shine, and it is so fantastic. It's not on Disney Plus, unfortunately. That's what really sucks.
Is it owned by Sony?
Probably. I don't think so. I don't know why it's not. Because technically, so basically, the problem with Spider-Man is Marvel owns every right to it except for the movie rights.
Oh, okay.
So if they wanted to do an animated Spider-Man Tom Holland style MCU, they could do that. They could do that with no problem. I think they might even, I'm not sure if they could do a live action television show with him, but they might be able to. I'm not sure. But the problem with this one is it all comes down to money, unfortunately, and just it wasn't getting the kind of ratings that they wanted, and legal troubles and blah, 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 blah. So it got to a point where the show was only on for 2 seasons, but if you ever get the chance to watch The Spectacular Spider-Man, it is incredible. And it takes from all lore of Spider-Man. So in this one, they had the Sinister Six was Dr. Octopus, Electro, Rhino, Sandman, Vulture. They had Shocker, and then Mysterio took over, and then Kraven the Hunter.
That sounds like it's more the mainstream kind of Sinister Six that we're going to be that we see and will be seeing.
Wasn't Hammerhead part of that one too? No.
But what's awesome is they all team up against Spider-Man immediately and beat the snot out of him, and he had just gotten the black suit, and he gets his butt kicked because they all go at him.
Yep.
He manages to escape with the black suit helping him because obviously it's a living being and it doesn't want to die either. And then as he's sleeping, the black suit takes him over and then viciously beats each member of the Sinister Six to the point where it almost the suit almost kills Dr. Octopus with his own tentacle. It was dark for a kids TV show. But that's the television, and arguably one of the more recent interpretations of the Sinister Six was actually in PS4's Marvel Spider-Man. It was, I don't know if you guys have played the Spider-Man game for PS4. It is really good.
Yeah.
But let's see if I get a list of the Sinister Six on that one. I want to say it was Dr. Octopus, Mr. Negative, Electro, Vulture, Rhino, and Scorpion. So solid lineup.
Yep.
But so that's kind of the Sinister Six in comics and TV and movies. Any thoughts, anybody? Because I'm tired.
That's a lot of people.
That was a lot of.
It's interesting to note the evolution of the Sinister Six and where it's come from, and it's neat to see that there are people who can interchange with it too. You know, when someone gets knocked down, someone else is ready to come tag themselves back in.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's an iconic group that I think all comic book fans know of. It's just which iteration are we talking about? Because we've had what was it, 17 different types of Sinister Sixes?
So many
plus. But I mean, not only is it an iconic group, but you also have I think, in my opinion, some of the most iconic Marvel villains are Spider-Man villains too.
Well, and that's kind of the rule with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
The villains are always more interesting than the hero.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's Captain America's villain?
Red Skull.
Yeah, but
Nazis.
you probably didn't know that until
Not
you were
America.
introduced, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing with this. It's you can name off all these different people, while everyone else, it's like they only have one, maybe two.
I will say the Spider-Man villains are probably almost as good as the Batman villains.
It is a very closely debated fan conversation. Who has the better rogue gallery? Because Superman has
Batman, I think, is just more iconic villains. While
What, the Batman ones?
The Batman ones
are
definitely more iconic.
I think Joker's probably the most well-known of any villain in comic book history.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, it comes down to which villains could do their own movies, and apparently DC could do that with Joker and stuff like that. And we'll talk about the Sinister Six as a movie in a few seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they could definitely do a Sinister Six movie, but I don't see any of these characters having their own movie like you do with Joker, Harley Quinn, and everything. And I mean, if they do a Sinister Six, are they going to do it in the style of Suicide Squad?
I'm holding out for the Rhino movie.
I'm holding out for a hero with Paul Giamatti.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right.
Say hello to Alexis Savage.
Oh, Paul Giamatti. We did not see enough Paul Giamatti as Rhino. Yeah, that was.
If you guys listen to our Amazing Spider-Man conversation, what a big letdown.
Aww, Paul Giamatti.
He hammed it up like nobody's
He's
business.
the best.
Oh God, he's a treasure. I feel like he'd be just an interesting guy to talk to.
Yeah. What was your thought process?
How much ham did you need?
He is so awesome.
He was one of the only good things in the Planet of the Apes movie. And that movie sucked.
Man. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I
Yeah,
forgot
he
he was in
did.
Tim
Yeah.
Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
You're welcome, everyone.
So speaking of movies,
Oh no.
So let's get into the movie verse.
Oh no. I don't want to.
So
it's about trailer time.
we're
No.
not there yet. We got to talk about the canceled Sinister Six movie.
We'll cancel Sinister Six movie.
So I can take this from here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So apparently, after Amazing Spider-Man 2, I remember being in the theaters, and they had just introduced the prospect of a Sinister Six film, because in the credits there are different images of some of the different people there, and also then there's also like a cut scene with Harry Osborn and Gustav Fiers, I think is his
Mr.
name?
Fiers.
Mr. Fiers, where they're talking about
Not a cutscene.
He's
Not a
it's not during the credits?
No. So basically, there's a scene where Harry he's been recaptured. He's captured at the end. He's in jail. His body keeps changing back and forth between normal and grotesque. And he says he wants to create a team of villains.
How many members did you have in mind, Mr. Osborn?
And he says,
I want to keep it small. Make
wanna
it
keep-
5, and I make 6.
yeah.
Everything you need is already to Oscorp. So yes, there was plans. Sony had plans, and they've been planning for years on doing a Sinister Six movie. And that was the big logical next step after Amazing Spider-Man 2. But unfortunately, Amazing Spider-Man 2 did not do very, very well. And that was the series killer for Andrew Garfield and that entire crew, which is a shame.
Or was it?
Which is a shame, because the person who was supposed to write and direct the Sinister Six movie was none other than the great Drew Goddard. Drew Goddard is a master screenwriter. If you are not sure about that, go and watch Cabin in the Woods, which is one of the most brilliant horror movies in years.
One of the worst marketed horror movies as well.
How could you market something like that? So anyway, that movie was supposed to have people like, of course, Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn from there, but it was also supposed to have Christoph Waltz as Dr. Otto Octavius, Paul Giamatti, of course, as the Rhino, Matthew McConaughey as the Vulture, Zach Quinto,
All right.
Zach Quinto as Mysterio,
I would have been okay with that.
Tom Hardy as Sandman, Emily Blunt as Scorpia. Here we are, Felicity Jones as Black Cat.
She was in Amazing Spider-Man
That's
2.
right. She was
Yeah.
very briefly in it. and it was Andrew Garfield and Shailene Woodley and everyone, and Chris Cooper, of course, is Norman Osborn. So it was like a really big deal.
Well, because there's a cut scene where apparently they have the severed head cryogenically frozen of Norman Osborn.
Yeah. But it never came together, and it totally fell apart. Unfortunately, due to
Marvel Studios.
Well, who knows? And Sony has never really let the concept of the Sinister Six go. Hence, probably why we're getting a Sinister Six now in this new.
But they're finally
Spider-Man.
doing it. Not only are they doing it in a unique way, but they're doing it in a much smarter way. Mm-hmm. So, Spider-Man: Homecoming comes out, and we weren't sure what to expect. We all loved Tom Holland in Civil War. Like, we were like, all right, we're on board with this new, very young Spider-Man who's just learning what he can do.
Under ruse.
Gotta get rid of my neighbors. But so we get introduced, and Vulture's the bad guy, and as we discussed in the Sinister 47,000 characters, I mean 6.
17 times 6 is 107.
Sure. But anyway,
he's checking his math right now.
Now I am.
Yeah, he is. So
102. Sorry, I was off.
That's fair. It's a good thing you're an English teacher. But so Adrian Toomes gets introduced. We also had in Spider-Man: Homecoming, we had a lot of characters introduced. We had Vulture. We had 2 different versions of Shocker. Matt Gargan, who plays Scorpion. The Tinkerer, and I want to say there was one more, but I don't remember off the top of my head. But so basically, you have all these characters that they're introducing, and the post credits or the mid credit scene is Matt Gargan talking to Adrian Toomes in jail.
Yeah.
And he's like, I kind of want revenge on Spider-Man. He did this to me. So they started sowing the seeds. And they did it in a much better way as opposed to the hallway of villain weapons in Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Paul Giamatti hamming it up for the last 3 minutes of the film just to cut to black at what could have been the coolest fight scene.
Yeah.
So we get that. And then in Spider-Man Far From Home, we get Mysterio. And he's, again, another character in the Sinister Six. And now in this movie, so you guys want to talk about the trailer?
Let's drop the trailer.
This trailer was so cool. I was so excited about it.
So the question that I've been asked a lot of times from my students is, did you watch the trailer? And I think they're asking the wrong question. They
How
should
many
be asking,
times?
how many times have you watched the trailer? And I have to say, I have watched it so many times now that I'm like, I got to stop watching it because I just keep studying it.
Yes.
And it's going to ruin it for me.
Well, so let's address the elephant in the room. A lot of people want
Don't
it.
call Ronnie that.
I'm trying to
That got
lose the weight.
personal. That got so personal. I've had cake every night this week. But anyway, a lot of cake.
How are you so skinny?
Which, by the way, congratulations to Paul on his wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2.
Wedding number 2.
Same woman. Same woman.
Same woman.
Somebody asked me that. They're like, oh, this is his second marriage. I said, no, it's the same one.
It was so nice he had to do it twice.
That's actually the motto. But anyway, COVID. But anyway, so this trailer came out, and the elephant in the room is that everybody's like, we want to see Andrew and Toby in it. First of all, no, you don't.
No.
You want to go into this movie with so many surprises.
Yes.
We have seen many Marvel trailers where they add things in, they take things out, CGI characters in, CGI them out. Like, there is the shot, though, and that everybody's talking about it. We'll add our 2 cents. So there's a shot in the trailer where you have Electro, who looks so much better.
Oh, God.
He looks more comic accurate.
Well,
Yes.
he instead of having just like a doofy mask, because Electro's mask in the comics is a little bit doofy.
Right.
He had just when he powers up, his electricity kind of comes out of his face like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was really cool. And he's more yellow, less blue. You have Sandman, and you have the Lizard, which Amazing Spider-Man Lizard. So you have those 3, and they're posted up on the new Statue of Liberty. Did you guys notice that the new Statue of Liberty has Captain America's shield? I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they jump at Spider-Man, and he seems to be alone, but Electro's really high in the frame going forward. Lizard's really far at the bottom going forward, and Tom Holland's just kind of going at Sandman. Now, apparently there was an international version.
Brazilian trailer.
The Brazilian trailer shows the Lizard looking like he's getting hit by something.
Right.
He whips
Like
back
he
really
punched
hard,
back
like he got
into the
punched or
left.
kicked really hard. The theories are that is one of the multiple Spider-Men that are in this movie.
It was an MTA bus.
What?
They're in this New York City. Got the MTA
They're
bus.
at the Statue of Liberty.
That would be great if Ronnie was right. And when we were watching the movie, we were like, wow, he's getting hit by an MTA bus.
What are the odds? And Ronnie's like,
air.
pretty good, I think. You heard it here first on the Multiverse Fan Cast. So I have a theory, and as obviously we want it to be Andrew Garfield, we want it to be Tobey Maguire. Right. I do have a theory that when the multiverse, because the last shot is, I think it's out of context though. I think it's Doctor Strange saying, like, the lines are cut differently. Yeah. It's not exactly what he says.
Oh, yeah.
But he does say something along the lines of, like, all these things are coming, and you just see, like, the portals dropping. I would not be surprised if they pulled characters from the What If and put them in live action.
Oh, sure.
Like a Captain Carter. And we were talking about Scarlett Johansson working on some top secret project. Could be a Captain Carter movie. I would not be surprised.
Only 4 weeks away, I think.
To Spider-Man?
Are we 4 weeks out?
About 30 days. It's going to be a long 30 days. Yeah.
Well, good thing we have Hawkeye to hold us over somewhat.
But I think I might go see Spider-Man on the Thursday. I might just buckle it and be tired for work the next day.
I might too.
I gotta say, I don't think we can handle
that was a funny question I asked my comic book class. I said, how many of you are going to go see Eternals? This was the weekend Eternals was coming out. How many of you are going to see Eternals? And like one hand went up. And then I said, how many of you are going to go see Spider-Man opening weekend? Every hand went up.
Spider-Man is statistically the most popular superhero on the planet. The most marketable, really the most popular. So now the thing about this trailer is we get our first look at Doc Ock, who we're not sure if he's totally a bad guy in this.
Yeah.
And that's funny because we actually did a deep dive on a lot of these characters in my comic book class the other day. We did research, and apparently Doc Ock has a history in the comics of teaming up with Spider-Man.
Yes. Doc Ock is always my best interest. Like that, he's a self-server. So what it looks like is all these villains have to go back to their universes where they're destined to die. Like, all these characters die fighting Spider-Man. So the trailer says that, but then I have to point out Lizard and Sandman didn't die.
Yeah.
Yes, they did not die in their respective movies.
You could argue that the Lizard, like that persona, did die when he got cured. Like, kind of like how the Hulk, there's Bruce Banner, there's the Hulk. Yeah. But Sandman got away.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, unless something happened afterwards that we never saw in, like, a Spider-Man 4... that line doesn't make sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, it might just be taken completely out of context.
Well, and it might, and when he says, these characters are destined to die, that almost makes me believe that Peter Parker, in order to set everything correct, needs to kill them in this.
Either
film.
that, or he has to send them back to die.
To die.
Yeah. And I don't think that either of those fly well with Peter.
But they have no way home.
Now I get the title.
Wait, what? I don't get it.
Really? Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. So here are some of the things, though. They introduced 5 villains in this trailer.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We have Dr. Octopus, obviously.
That's 1.
Electro.
That's 2.
Green Goblin.
3.
Who, by the way,
Ronnie
looks fantastic.
Yes.
Green Goblin?
Green Goblin.
Yes.
Like, it's just such but we have Sandman.
4.
And the Lizard.
That's 5.
Now, there is one shot of a different person on a glider, or what looks to be a different character on a glider.
Yeah, because he's not masked. Actually,
he's wearing a hood.
I have to say, it almost looked like the Winter Soldier to me for a minute there.
So the prevalent theories are, A, it's just Norman Osborn. He got a different suit for the ending battle. Totally possible.
Yeah.
B, and this is the least likely, James Franco.
Yeah.
They will not have James Franco coming in. Because technically he does die during a battle.
Technically his reputation and career died.
Yeah, bad. Bad. Dane DeHaan.
That was a theory I had heard. Yeah.
I'd be okay with it. I think that'd be a fun little...
He's a good actor.
I like Dane DeHaan. He just doesn't... Yeah. And then an alternate version of Ned as the Hobgoblin. Because in the comics, Ned Leeds does become one of the Hobgoblins.
Yeah.
So that's a possible 6 members. Some of the other possible members that are being mentioned: Venom, Eddie Brock,
right,
from the Venom movie.
But why would he be on unless that's?
Oh, he
Norman Osborn.
You remember the end of Venom 2? He was like he rebooted into the new multiverse.
Yeah.
Well, no, I meant
and he licked Spider-Man on the.
I meant like on like the hoverboard. thing.
No, I'm talking about who's this mystery
sixth?
Who's the sixth member?
Yeah.
I was not saying that Venom would be coming in on a goblin guy or throwing
That's
bombs.
why I was like, oh.
No. So the other possible beliefs for the sixth member are Venom, Rhino, Alexei Sitsevich from Amazing Spider-Man 2, Paul Giamatti.
You can only hope.
One of the versions of Shocker. Craven the Hunter, because he has been cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as him.
I was kind of going that route in my comic book class with them, that I think it's going to be Craven.
It would make the most sense.
Yes.
Scorpion, which I could see, but unfortunately you have to do a little bit of backstorying with that.
Yeah.
They have the benefit of these characters. They don't need the backstory. They're there. We know them. Go watch the movie.
Right.
Some of the least likely characters. There's a few characters.
Vulture.
Vulture is a candidate. Some people think that Vulture might be it. If Morbius had come out before this movie, I would say Morbius could be a potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the biggest names. Or Mysterio. I don't know if I said Mysterio, but that Quentin Beck is actually,
makes sense.
and it would make sense for them not to show him in the trailer.
Yeah.
But so those are the most likely candidates.
It would also make sense not to show Venom in the trailer, because then that would spoil the end of Venom,
which is just coming to DVD.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
who do you think it is, Paul?
I want to lean towards Mysterio. I really think that
I'm
it's Mysterio.
between Mysterio and
Well,
Vulture.
this is who you think, not who you want it to be.
No, that's who I think.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
between
okay.
Mysterio and Vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
I mean, I would want it to be Craven, because I think that would be so cool. But I think it's going to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think it's going to be Craven. However, I want it to be Venom, because now we can finally get our hopes up for a Venom Spider-Man movie.
You know,
Which would be a better one, because it would be with Kevin Feige at the helm.
it'd be really
stupid
cool.
Sony.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, if it's actually Carnage and Venom, that's why Venom's in the and Venom's actually in the final battle.
Only if Woody Harrelson has his original haircut.
Yeah.
Wait, like his original, or like
the one with
the original that we saw, the curly?
like the one.
I think that would be a lot of fun if if Venom actually had to team up with Spider-Man. Because again, this trailer show, like, perfect example. In the first trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, you see him at the help me out here, the donation thing at the beginning, and he's wearing a totally different suit that he actually is in the final copy, because they could do that. It's a CGI suit. So there is going to be so many things in this movie that the trailers lied to us about.
Speaking of trailers, did you see the TV spot?
I was trying to stay away from the TV spots.
It wasn't all that many different things. There was like a couple new lines, and the moment when Doctor Strange is like taking whatever that box MacGuffin thing is that he's got on him, like he's doing it through a portal and everything, which is kind of neat. It's worth watching, but it's nothing. It's not going to spoil anything for you.
Well, I just want to Scooby-Doo this crap. Please.
I don't even know what that means.
I think that they are going like on a mission to find all these villains.
But
basically.
to Scooby-Doo, it means to like
solve the mystery.
Solve the mystery where there's some sort of old cranky man.
Or you could argue
an
that
amusement
it's like the
park
three of them
wearing a
team up,
mask.
like a pesky kid, or what is it? If it wasn't for those,
If it wasn't, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids.
something like that.
And your damn dog too.
I don't think they said that.
No, that's when Scrappy was around.
Oh God, Scrappy Doo. But yeah, any other
thoughts?
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the surprises that are in the trailer that don't have to deal with the Sinister Six.
Oh, go for it.
The Iron Spider suit.
They have the new integrated suit at the end.
Yeah.
It's got slight differences.
Which is cool. The fact that Doc Ock seems to absorb some of the Iron Spider tech.
It's very interesting. His tentacles change.
Yeah, if you got to look for it. Watch for his tentacles that they turn like reddish.
Goldish, yeah.
Just some of the paneling.
Yeah, and it looks like he's absorbing tech, which I heard is also a comic book story where he absorbs like Stark tech and
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. The fact that you have MJ doing sort of a Gwen Stacy.
So there's a big theory that the hand that's trying to catch her is actually going to be Andrew Garfield catching her, which I would be okay with.
Yeah.
Then
they fall in love.
I would love if one of the. I would love if one of the cameos is actually Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen.
Ooh.
That would be really cool.
That would be, yeah.
The fact that you have one shot, which is very Spider-Verse, the one where he is flying like in the distance over the power lines.
Yeah.
That looks like it's ripped right out of into the Spider-Verse. What else? Just the fact that I love the fact that Doc Ock is so prominently on display in this, and we're going to get another great Doc Ock scene.
Yeah,
I want to see him and Willem Dafoe talk to each other.
Oh, yeah, that's
They
true.
never interacted in the movies.
yeah.
I was sad. Oh, the fact that we saw Peter Parker doing magic.
Oh, his suit, his new
Yeah.
suit has magical. The black suit that he wears in this has some sort of
Yeah.
magical type abilities. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess it's given to him by Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
I was sad to see that we didn't get any more Captain America the musical.
No, that's only for that's for Hawkeye.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
Hawkeye.
that's Hawkeye.
Yeah.
That's
All
Hawkeye.
right. J. Jonah Jameson. Of course,
He
we
is
got to
in
see
it,
him.
yes, in person, not just on the screens.
I'm thinking. I'm looking through the trailer right now. I've been having it on like constant rolling here while I'm talking to you guys. With more pumpkin bombs, of course.
Yep, you can't go wrong with pumpkin bombs.
And, all right, any theories as to what that box is that Peter Parker keeps carrying around?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Oh, we've done this already. But anyway, I think it has something to do with the multiverse and those villains. And I think that's the thing that would either send them back or kill them. And Spider-Man's trying to stop Doctor Strange. Because Doctor Strange will kill someone. Doctor Strange will kill a guy.
I'll shank.
Homie, don't play that.
Yeah. That's why Doctor Strange was like the most powerful in What If. Like, he's got no moral
Sorcerer
qualms.
Supreme.
But like in the first movie, he's like, I would never take a life. I swore an oath.
Yeah.
Yo, he was gonna kill Thanos. He would have killed Thanos had he had the chance. So
Why aren't you supposed to?
I read a really long essay about how apparently Doctor Strange has never seen Scooby-Doo because he's not using that properly, which is why that is not actually Doctor Strange, and that's why it's Mephisto.
yeah, that's a big one. There's a lot of theory that this is not actually Doctor Strange, but I think we can kind of put that one to rest at this point. Anything else?
Not from me. Anything else?
No, that's about everything.
Are you done watching the trailer for the 7 millionth time?
Yeah, holy cow. There's so much to unpack in this trailer, and it's just exciting, and I hope they don't reveal any more.
I really hope that if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are in this movie, first and foremost, I hope they give them new suits. There's a great suit called the Last Stand suit, and a lot of people want Tobey Maguire to be wearing it. It's like a very post-apocalyptic type or like end of his career type suit for Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire would look really good in it. But I also want Tobey Maguire to literally look at Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit and be like, I made mine, you little brat. Got Stark tech that puts itself together for you.
How old is Tobey Maguire now?
You know, he's up there.
He's got to be in his 40s.
I was
I
going
think
to
he
say
is.
43.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good guess.
Right?
Because I'm just wondering, because Tom Holland, Tom Holland is
46.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
How old is Tom Holland?
Oh, he's got to be like 20, 21. He's very young.
He's got to be
very
about
young.
26 or 27, I bet.
Maybe.
He just looks like
25.
25. He just looks like he's 12, and he will forever look like he's 12.
He's a very young looking guy.
I mean, I was seeing him in the trailer. What's that? The adventure movie he's
Uncharted.
in? Uncharted. I was watching him in that, and it looks like I'm watching a sixth grader.
Yeah,
doing,
and
like,
Andrew
Indiana Jones stuff.
In case anybody wants to know, Andrew Garfield's 38.
Yeah.
38.
That's funny.
So it'll be interesting seeing the three of them if they are in fact together, because they are generational now. They're someone in their 20s, someone in their 30s, someone in their 40s, and like just seeing them interact as Spider-Man, it actually is very Spider-Verse-ish when you've got the older Spider-Man working with Miles Morales, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
I want to see what the ramifications of this movie are going to be, especially if they want to do Sony wants to do a Sinister Six movie. That's one of the reasons we wanted to do Sinister Six as an episode. But what if you're making the Sinister Six out of characters from other universes? Does the universe get put back together at the end of this? Is the big question.
No.
Yeah,
because what's the next movie
what's the next movie
in the MCU?
Multiverse of
Madness.
Yeah, so I want to see how this movie ties into Doctor Strange.
Which and we have to admit we know nothing and have seen nothing of the Multiverse of Madness. The only thing that we know about it is that Doctor Strange is in it, and we know that it's leaning into a lot of horror elements, and Sam Raimi is directing it, and that's it. So wouldn't it be funny if like Spider-Man ended up having to show up in that? It's entirely, what if Spider-Man, No Way Home is a part 1 of a 2-part series in Doctor Strange Multiverse?
Well, unfortunately, Tom Holland in interviews, I think it was either today or yesterday, literally said, "I don't know how don't think I'm going to be playing Spider-Man much longer."
Yeah. And Andrew Garfield keeps telling us he's not in this movie.
And Tobey Maguire tells people it's the central part that he is.
Yeah, right.
It's the worst kept secret at this point.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to overhype and get so excited that
And
I'm
then
like, they're
that
going to be in
happens.
it, and then it doesn't happen, and we're like,
Yeah.
So
That's why I'm hoping nothing gets spoiled with that.
It's funny too that I remember when I went to see Endgame, and even after Endgame, thinking nothing else will ever come close to this kind of fan excitement, and this one actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that they were able. That Marvel is just amazing that they're able to repeat something in terms of the popularity. Mm-hmm. They're so what a talent house.
I think it has to do with the hype around the multiverse fact.
Yeah.
I think if there was no multiverse hype and obviously the hype of, are we going to get Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire in it? If it wasn't for that, I don't think there'd be as much hype to that level.
Maybe.
That Endgame was. But obviously there's still hype because it is Spider-Man after all.
And possibly Daredevil. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Yeah. So I think that's going to wrap us up for this episode of the Sinister Six. But before we go, we have our Fanby Feedback Friday.
Woohoo!
Which was a great question.
Thanks.
You're welcome, buddy.
All right, so it was named the best Spider-Man villain. Yeah, some of these were very entertaining.
I just report what I hear.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Ronnie's. The real villain is Spider-Man himself. Interesting. Emo Peter Parker. Yes. A fly swatter by Judge Judy. Ronnie. Green Goblin. Venom, Sandman, visually cool. Venom, a lot of mystery behind him. Cool villain. Spooderman. Nah. Oh, Rhino from the animated show. Let's see. Your mom. Bully Peter Parker. Frogman. I think there's a follow-up on that one. Oh, he's a real comic book character.
Yeah.
My God. Doorman, again, yes, another real...
You familiar with Doorman?
I know.
Doorman, and for those of you who don't know, he's a mutant, and he can create portals for anyone except for himself.
Yeah. And Doc Ock. Yep, we had some good ones. This was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your feedback.
How can people do that? Oh, you're supposed to ask me that. Sorry.
On our Facebook page, we really appreciate that. Paul, how can everyone get in touch with us?
The Multiverse Fan Cast on Facebook. TheMisfitFaction.com.
Where else, Paul?
You can also find us on YouTube, the Misfit Faction Media Network, on Instagram, the Misfit Faction, on Twitter, Misfit Faction, and our website, themisfitfaction.com.
And you can also take us on the go
with Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you listen to podcasts.
That's going to wrap us up. Can you let me finish? That's going to wrap us up for our discussion on the Sinister Six. But before we go, we have a little special announcement to make.
Oh.
Without that sound effect. That's why I paused, so we can edit that out.
We'll edit it out in post.
Yeah, I made the decision.
He's host, so he has to do it. You have to do what he says. That's the rule.
Anyway, we've been doing a little special project over the past month or so, or two, where we're going to have another podcast come out. It's going to be called MF Uncensored, the Misfit Faction Uncensored. In there, it's going to be kind of just, we have interviews with, different people, actors, actresses, authors, podcasters. It basically just a free-for-all almost, So it's going to be us interviewing people. We'll do also podcasts, with us three, and then Sean from Cinematic Adventures,
So basically, what we wanted to do, we started this project months ago, and we drunkenly recorded an episode.
I was not a part of that episode.
Yeah, on a Saturday night, and basically the concept came from people saying, producer Melanie would sit in and listen to us like talk before and after the show, and she's like, "You guys should just record this. Like it's funny." So
you're welcome.
Yes, you were welcome. So basically, we wanted to create a show that was anything we wanted to talk about. A 30, 35-minute show where anything goes. And what happened was I connected with a podcast producer. His name is Steve Joyner. He's been very good working with us. He said, what I do is I connect people for interviews and interview-type questions. And unfortunately, we are not an interview-based show. Neither are Cinematic Adventures. We're more of a review and topical discussions about a very specific genre on this show especially. Yep. But what we decided to do was readdress the idea of a separate podcast, and we decided MF Uncensored, where basically it is anything we want to talk about goes. We have almost 2 months of content already done for you guys. We have interviews, like Ronnie said, with other podcasters, with authors, with actors. I don't want to spoil anything, but we are doing a very special release of one of the episodes for Cinematic Adventures next week, where we interviewed Steve Rubin. He wrote the official James Bond encyclopedia, and he dropped James Bond knowledge on us that even Sean did not know. And if you have ever listened to Sean talk about a movie, the idea of Sean not knowing a fact about a movie, mind-boggling.
Yes.
And it is fantastic. So if you guys are not following Cinematic Adventures, make sure you guys are doing that next week when we drop that episode. The full show, MF Uncensored, should be released in the beginning of December. It will be released, I think, every Wednesday is probably going to be the day that we do that. So it does. So it's not like you're getting so much content from us on one day that you don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at with that.
Yes. Or are you just letting out some air?
Sorry. Yeah, built up over the course of the show.
At least he didn't burp again.
Yeah, right. But that's going to wrap us up for this evening. I'm Ronnie.
And I'm Paul.
And I'm Rob.
And we'll be back in a flash.
Smorgasbord!